Alright, what's going on everybody? It's the Madden Delicious Beast Starbow 16 here, and today we have patch notes and a new patch for NFL Madden 20, and it's a big one. It's a really big one. It's not live as of now. The patch, it can be downloaded, but the patch is not live. So, you know, once that happens, we'll be testing it more in depth, going into detail to see what works and what doesn't, see any new interactions, see if we notice anything different. But for right now, this video is just gonna be talking about the patch notes, so sit back, relax, just watch this, you know, random gameplay in the background. It's just a whole bunch of, you know, highlights and clips and whatnot. But without further ado, hopping straight into it, we have new abilities. We have protective custody and moss, and then we have more, you know, subsequent abilities. Like those were X factors I just named. The other abilities, we have lumberjack, out my way, inside stuff, goal line stuff, no outsiders, and tank. Now for gameplay, we have stumbling has returned, auto break on conservative tackles has been nerfed, no more top speed on conservative runs. So we'll get into that one because that's a huge one that I want to talk about. X factors have been buffed across the board, especially, you know, receiver X factors, so rat catching, max security, moss, and double me. You will now auto win versus the press, which is pretty good because, you know, those X factors were very lackluster. They buffed run stuffer. They nerfed hit sticks with AI controlled players, which is huge. We're gonna see how that affects the enforcer. The scum kick has been nerfed, so they say, and they buffed the pass lead on slants. And then of course some quality of life changes I found notable. We have 90% refund on training refunds, so that's really good. And then MUT draft coach is now at the end of your draft, which is absolutely terrific. So what does this all mean? What are the, you know, the biggest things to note from this patch? Alright, so first thing I want to talk about all the gameplay fixes before I get into the abilities and stuff. Now, one of the most notable things to me was the buff on R1 running or conservative running, whichever one that you do. As you see in this clip here, I can hold R1 and I don't lose any speed. I protect the ball. The AI just goes dumb for some reason because you can kind of swerve them, and it's just really good. It's the best way to run the ball. I do R1 because I have abilities on my running back, so, you know, if I want to juke, if I want to spin, you know, I can just let go of R1 and do that. But conservative running, I mean, it was obviously the best way to go because, you know, you can just swerve people, you always protect the ball, you're never gonna fumble, hit sticks will often bounce off of you, and you get a lot of broken tackles. Well, they nerfed those two things now. They've added auto break on conservative tackles, have been nerfed. No more top speed on conservative running, and then stumbling has been added, so you're not going to be running into your running back and then bouncing off. You're actually going to trip over and you have to, you know, flick the R stick, which is actually really good. So those are just some slight nerfs to the running game. There's nothing about pursuit angles, which I'm really disappointed about, but judging by the new, you know, abilities, which we'll get into in a later vid, I don't think it's going to be too necessary. I think it's actually a creative way to balance the run game. But aside from that, they've also buffed run stuffer, which was absolutely needed. They nerfed, which you just saw me do there, speaking of which, they nerfed, you know, those type of hits. I don't know how it's going to work on enforcer, but I do know that AI is going to hit stick a lot less now, so we're going to have to see how that really works. You know, if we can just click off of Pat Tillman, as we often do, as you often should. Scum kick is gone, thank God. I didn't run into too many people with it. It could have been countered if you came out in onside kick formation, but for the most part it was just absolutely horrible. They buffed the pass lead on slants, which means, you know, you can actually throw it further on slants, kind of lead them towards the ball as you should with the slant route. And as far as gameplay goes, that's pretty much it. Now you have auto wins on X factor abilities, especially the wide receiver ones. That's also really good because it's really aggravating. You have something like double me active, you know, because they're kind of hard to get, especially in the especially with pass rush and zone coverage playing the way it is. But you'd have something like double me, and then they could even get off the line of scrimmage, and then they would still get mossed by the DB. So having buffs to X factors is really good. Now, what do the abilities do? Okay, that's the part I'm sure everybody wants to know. Alright, so protective custody. Ball carriers with this ability are immune to fumbling when in the zone. That's absolutely huge. That means I'm going to turn on aggressive running, and whatever happens at that point. And Moss, obviously, when players enter this zone, they will win contested catches regardless of coverage on passes of 50 yards or more. I'm scared. I'm absolutely terrified of that ability. Now we also have abilities like Lumberjack, out my way, goal line stuff, inside stuff, and no outside runners with Tank. Lumberjack defense abilities, preventing broken tackles can cause fumbles when using cut stick tackles. So that's flicking down on the R stick. Then you have out my way, defensive ability that always wins versus impact block attempts versus wide receivers, tight ends, and RBs. Huge, absolutely huge. This can really help blow up like outside runs, especially stretches, if you like using X factors on linebackers or perhaps even safeties. So we'll see how this goes. But goal line stuff, I think it's the weakest of the bunch. Defensive ability, allowing quick block shots one-on-one against run blocks within 5 yards of the goal line. That's why I'm kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like 5 yards against the goal line. Then again, it could act as, you know, like a pass rush ability and a run stuff ability, but you know, the fact that they're 5 yards in the goal line is kind of bad in of itself. But next you have inside stuff, defensive ability, allowing quick block sheds one-on-one against blocks on run plays, which is absolutely phenomenal. Of course, you know, we want to stop the inside zone and dive meta. No outsiders, defensive ability, allowing quick block sheds against one-on-one run blockers on outside running plays. This is absolutely huge. Is stretch gone? We will see. And then last but not least, we have Tank. Inspired by the Ultimate Team legend Rob Gronkowski, ball carriers with this ability break all hit stick tackles except Enforcer. And this ability is only available for tight ends instead of Ultimate Team. So if you run your offense through your tight end, which, you know, the three of you who do, you know, congratulations. This sounds like a really, really damn good ability. So overall, what is this patch really looking like here? It looks absolutely solid, to be honest. We're gonna see. We're gonna do some testing. We're gonna reserve judgment. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video here. So thank you guys for watching this video. Like and subscribe if you liked this video, found it helpful. Dislike if you did not, and I'll see you in the next one.